Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters. In this major event that it's been affected for the entire human race, coronavirus or COVID-19. I remember a few verses from the Quran and a few hadiths from Sunnah that I thought of them as a reminder to me, myself, my family, and also for the entire Muslim nation, and even for the non-Muslim friends that they will be listening to this. On the authority of Abu Abbas, Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with them, who said, "One day I was behind the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, riding on the same mount. And he said, 'O young man, I shall teach you some words of advice. Be mindful of Allah, and Allah will protect you. Be mindful of Allah, and you will find Him in front of you. If you ask, then ask Allah alone. And if you seek help, then seek help from Allah alone. And if you seek help, then seek help from Allah alone. And know that if the nation were to gather together to benefit you with anything, they would not benefit you except with what Allah had already prescribed for you. And if they were to gather together to harm you with anything, they would not harm you except with what Allah had already prescribed against you. The pens have been lifted and the pages have dried." It was related by Tirmizi, who said it was a good hadith. Another narration for the same hadith in Musnad al-Imam Ahmad. So the first one was narrated in Tirmizi, and this one is Musnad al-Imam Ahmad. He said, "Be mindful of Allah, and you will find Him in front of you. Recognize and acknowledge Allah in times of ease and prosperity, and He will remember you in times of adversity. And know that what has passed you by and you have failed to attain was not going to befall you, and what has befallen you was not going to pass you by. And know that victory comes with patience, relief with affliction, and hardship with ease." In this hadith, narrated by Ibn Abbas in the Tirmizi book and in Musnad al-Imam Ahmad, it's just a reminder. Was this COVID-19 virus or coronavirus, or even with any other things that they may happen, with anything else, if Allah wants these things to happen to you, it will happen to you. No one can stop that from happening. And if Allah doesn't want you to have it, if Allah does not want you to get it, if Allah does not want you to have anything to deal with it, He will not make it happen. And as Muslims, we need to have this belief, and we need to remember Allah Azza Jal in such these days and in such these events. Abdullah ibn Abbas, the Prophet ﷺ was giving him this advice to teach us and to tell the entire nation of humane people all over the world for all the times. It's part of the belief to be a Muslim, to believe and tu'minu bil qadar khayrihi wa sharrih, to believe in a good fate and in the ones that they are not good too. I know that some of us or most of us are afraid to die. They're afraid. If they're not afraid about themselves. Maybe they're afraid about their loved ones. But aren't we are gonna die anyway one day? We will. Because Allah Azza wa Jal have made it clear. He said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Quran, أَفَإِن مِتَّ أَفَهُمُ الْخَالِدُونَ. So if you have passed, do you think these people are gonna make it out? Allah Azza wa Jal know everything in the world before it's even happening. He said this in the Quran. But also it's part of our life to be tested. Allah Azza wa Jal have clearly said. Allah Azza wa Jal have clearly said in Surah Al-Ankabut, Surah number 29, in the beginning of the Surah, Alif Lam Mim, أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فلا يعلمن الله الذين صدقوا وليعلمن الكاذبين. Allah Azza wa Jal was wondering, do people think that they will be left alone because they say we just believe without even them being tested? No, this will never gonna be happening, because if you said you believe in God, then you need to be tested. And we indeed tested those who were before you. Allah Azza wa Jal have tested all the nations before Muslims. He tested the Jew, He tested the Christians, He tested even from Nuh alayhi salam. He tested even Adam, our father. So everyone been into a test. So now this might be one of the tests that we need to face. And maybe this is one of the things that we need to come across. And we need to be patient, and we need to be willing to change our lives to better. Because one of the purpose of the test is for us to pass. But not everyone will gonna pass. Some people will gonna fail. Some people will almost make it. Some people will pass. During this hardship of time, during this event of time, our job is to remind you of Allah, and to remind those that they forget that everything belongs to Allah. That no, everything belongs to Allah. Everything belongs to Allah when it's good. Everything belongs to Allah even if it's a punishment for us. Because we have done so many sins, and as humans, if Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, in so many verses, He keep reminding us of that everything bad is happening is just because some of what we have done already. Allah Azza wa Jal said in this surah, in Surah Al-Ankabut, verse number 2 and 3. Because sometimes the people think because they said we believe in Allah, they will not gonna be tested. No. The Prophet ﷺ been tested. Prophet Musa ﷺ been tested. Prophet Ibrahim been tested. And we all know the story of Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ. He been tested to slaughter his son. Every test is different. And we learn these tests about what it's have had happened to them, because we need to learn from it and go above and beyond. In another surah, Surah Al-An'am, verse number 59, part of the verse. وَمَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا. That the leaf on a tree will not gonna fall down without Allah knowledge. Allah know about that leaf. Could you imagine this? I want you to think with me. If Allah Azza wa Jal know all of that, didn't He know about the coronavirus? He did know. He certainly know. Even if it's a handmade virus, or even if it's a true virus, I'm not speaking about that medical part or the conspiracy part, but what we need to understand is that no matter what's happening, Nothing could harm you if Allah doesn't want it to harm you. And if Allah wanted to harm you, then it will harm you even if you take all the precautions that you could take in the world. So if you've been very careful, extreme careful, wash your hands, sanitize your hand, do whatever, if Allah wants you to have it, no one can stop this from happening. If Allah doesn't want this to happen to you, it will not gonna happen. But let's say this. For those that they have got that virus, and for those of us that they've been affected by it somehow, losing their jobs, working from home, it's a pandemic, it's been affecting the entire world, so the entire world have the same issue. So if you got that error, there is almost a lot of people already been there and done that too. But normally, what should we do in this event? Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran that these messages that Allah Azza wa Jal have sent it for us to remind us to Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, وَمَا نُرْسِلُ بِالْآيَاتِ إِلَّا تَخْوِيفًا. That, and we send not signs but to warn. So these tests that we've been having and we've been receiving is to warning us. Everyone with this pandemic need to worry about, okay, let's say I got the virus, let's say I'm gonna die. Let me say I'm not gonna die, but I'm not gonna get the virus either, but do we check our relationship with God often? Did we check how good we are with our Creator? Do we really follow everything He says? Isn't it painful that we cannot go to the masjid anymore? All the mosques are closed, almost everywhere in the world. It's painful. Even those that they don't go to pray, they feel, oh my gosh, Ya Ilahi, what should I do now? Should I go to pray? But now the mosque is closed. Now God's saying, stay home for your safety. As in Islamic terms, you could stay home in this event, but wouldn't you check your relationship with your Creator? Wouldn't you just try to look what Allah have been said? Allah Azza wa Jal have sent so many signs to others too. In Surah Al-A'raf, He mentioned when He sends a flood, when He sends a blood, when He sends a locust, when He sends a lot of diseases to people. You know what? I don't know, but I believe maybe they thought it's a pandemic. And maybe they try to run any other option. But we always knock the wrong door. The right door is to say, oh Allah, please, we are sorry, please forgive us. Dear brothers and sisters, in this time, the best thing to do is try to get back to Allah. This is the best time. This is a message for me, for you, for everyone you know, is to remind each other about how could we make it with Allah Azza wa Jal. Let's fix what the time has been broke between us and God. Let's try to think deeply in our relation with Allah. In this pandemic, everyone tried to get worried about food, try to worry about buying a hand sanitizer, try to worry about cleaning products, try to worry about, so many things. Try to worry about their loved ones, that they're in severe health conditions, that they have lower immune system. But people could die falling the stairs. People could die driving their cars. People could die drinking water, believe it or not. People could die with any possible situation. You don't need to be weak to die. You don't want to be healthy to survive. Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. When the time has come, not even a moment before, not even a moment after, you will die exactly at the times that Allah have made for you. We know this. That's part of the Quran. We need to believe in this. It's not something that I'm just making up out of my mind. Allah said, فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. When the time have come for them to die, not a moment before, not a moment after. So, imagine this with me. Coronavirus will take our lives. Cool. It's a really great benefit to us to know this, because it's time for us to work hard towards God, because we need to save ourselves. We need to be in heaven. Aren't we? This is the question. Use this fear to make you closer to Allah, because Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, we should worship Him fearing from what He have and wishing in the rewards that He will give us. So we need always have, so if you had the fear from the coronavirus, that should be a helpful part for us to even get closer to Allah. Try to read the Quran more often. Try to pray on time, even if you pray in home. Try to get your family, gather with them, pray with them. But try to make a little bit time. The Quran is great to read, but try to read the tafsir. Try to understand what you are reading. Not just the Quran. Try to open any book of knowledge. Try to learn more about your religion. Try to educate your kids. Try to educate your family. Use this time wisely. Now some of us have been forced to stay at home. Some of us have the ability to go to work. Some of us have to work from home. It's our job to remind each other during this time that we have nothing to do except by going back to Allah. I want you to follow your being careful, washing your hand, social distancing, cleaning your hands, sanitize the items you buy. Be careful is not a bad thing. But if Allah have determined that this is your time, no matter how much you was careful, no matter how much you've been worried about stuff, no matter how many times you wash your hand, no matter, and just etc. If Allah wanted to be done, it will be done. This is part of the Islamic belief. If you love people, you're afraid about them, pray for them. Because how long we will gonna live? 80, 90, 100? Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, he spent 950 years just making da'wah, just reporting the message that Allah have gave him to deliver to people. 950 years from his life. So he lived more than 950 years, and then what? He died. Our beloved Prophet ﷺ, that we all love, and we should all love more than ourselves, more than our Creator, more than ourselves, more than our family, more than our kids. He passed. He died. So if he have gone through this, aren't we supposed to be mentally prepared for this? We're supposed to be better mentally prepared. As a Muslim nation, we should remind ourselves what is more important. If Allah Azza wa Jal send a test like this, if Allah send a crisis like this, why do you think He have sent this? Maybe because we have so much sins in our lives that we live. Look how we treat people, look how we treat our neighbors, look what sunnah we have missed, look what sins that we've been making. Look at our sin records. Try to take a look deeper in what you're doing and try to scale it over Quran and Sunnah. Try to scale it over Quran and Sunnah, and if it passes, then it's okay. If it does not pass, then you need to worry, because this is a severe problem for us. And now, while we are still alive, it's a very important thing to worry about. Dear brothers and sisters, this event should make us closer to Allah. If Allah knows that this is the best for us to die with, then Allah will take us. And He will exchange the entire humanity because He could. What I'm trying to say, based on what we have seen, and based on everything that we've been looking at, the people are afraid to die. What does they have done? People go sing in the balconies in some countries. People go do whatever they think it's good. But the Muslims should go to their God. The Muslims should go to Allah and only focus on how could we satisfy Allah in these days. إن الذنب لا يرفع إلا بتوبة. إن البلاء لا يرفع إلا بتوبة. The punishments that we've been receiving from God, the only things that could cure us or help us is if we go sincerely to Allah asking for forgiven, to forgive us. To ask Allah severely to help us, to ask Allah severely, and to know that no one can help you except Him. No one can help you except Him. No one can benefit you except Him. No one can do anything to you except Allah. Allah is the only one. Allah is the only one can help you in this matter and in other matters. But the problem is that we always knock the wrong door sometimes. We always try to find the solution somewhere else. You should say Bismillah before you eat. You should say Bismillah before you do everything. Why do you say Bismillah? To protect you. Why do you say Askar al-Sabah wal-Masa? The prayer, the supplication for the morning and the supplication for the night, because it's a protection for you. Is it will protect everyone? No, it will protect only those who believes in it. Dear brothers and sisters, that's my first time being in recorded video, so that's my first time experience. I never done this before, that's my first time. Of course I will try to be like them. Please, if you like what I have said, subscribe to my page, and like the video and do all that lovely stuff. But also, inshallah, I'm planning to post more videos soon. This is just my first beginning, and I will be discussing more into depth. Inshallah, it will be posted into my channel about how can we get closer to Allah during such events, and also to remind you guys and me about more other verses in the Quran and try to get closer to Allah. أقول قولي هذا, and I just said what I have said today لنصحي أولا, to advise myself first and also to advise you guys. Please remember Allah all the time. Please keep Allah always the ones that you should go to, and I hope I see you guys soon. أقول قولي هذا يعني سبحانك الله بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.